Now, looking ahead to the World Seniors Championship, starts on Thursday afternoon, and the big talking points going into it is, are we going to see a hat-trick of titles for Robert Thornton at the Circus Tavern, or is Leonard Gates going to complete the clean sweep and hold all four of the seniors titles at the same time, or are we going to see a different winner? What do you reckon?
I mean, I do think one of those three things will happen. We don't know exactly where Robert Thornton's game is right now. So it makes it a little harder to predict, but he's always seemed to bring his best. And I mean, he's called himself a fighter before. He is a fighter. He's gritty. He's tough to beat, and he's not gonna let anyone take that trophy off of him if he can have anything to say about it. So you're going to have to play your best to beat him. But there are a few players in this field who are playing their best, including Leonard Gates. Gates came so close to qualifying for the UK Open on Saturday, losing in the final. But no worries for him. He came back the following day and went and qualified for the UK Open. That's where Leonard Gates is right now. In two Riley's qualifiers, he won one title and made one final. A little bit better than the one match you won, Alex. But granted, he did have two bites of the apple. Leonard Gates is one of the best players not on the PDC circuit, and didn't go to Q school, but showing that he doesn't need to. And he's traveling all over the world, won an event in Colorado on Groundhog's Day for $500, flew across, and just he's pretty darn good. He is the favorite, and he should be for a reason. But there's a few others who are, who definitely have the game to bring home the trophy. Richie Howson was one of the revelations last year on the senior tour. I want to see how he does. Kevin Painter keeps going deep in the majors. Eventually, you think he's going to get one of these. Granted, we said that for 20 years about him as a professional before he finally did. So maybe the 2043 World Seniors will be the year for Kevin Painter. But he's definitely live here. John Henderson, who you hear from later, Dave Cameron, and lastly, I think Scott Mitchell is the big question mark. He was, or the big, not question mark, the big other contender here. Played very well on the senior tour a couple weekends ago. He's, I think, has the game that's most in shape of any of the players other than the big two that we mentioned. He's the last one that I think could do it. But the question is, who is going to win the title? And I think it is going to be the American. So I'm going to go Leonard Gates to become world senior champion and complete the sweep of senior majors.
Well, I think you've just overtaken me for tip of the year, not for that tip for Leonard Gates to win the World Seniors this weekend, but how to win a Riley's qualifier, playing one on the Saturday and then go and playing one on the Sunday, and you'll win that. I don't think I was in any condition to go and play darts on that Sunday. But back to the World Seniors, and if you're going off the bookies, they've not got Leonard Gates as the favourite. They've not got the reigning champion Robert Thornton as the favourite. They've got John Henderson as the favourite, 11-2 in some places. Then it is Leonard Gates, followed by Scott Mitchell, who you're backing to do well. And then Robert Thornton is the fourth favourite to make it a hat-trick. And I think with these events, that the World Seniors Championship, it is still relatively new. It's only the third year that it's been on. So there's only a small sample size to work off from previous years. But Robert Thornton, you look at the last couple of years, and he has been a class above the rest for the most part. 8 of his 10 games at the Circus Tavern, he has topped that 90 average mark, and the other two, 87 and 89, I think. So it's been a very consistent level of play in those 2 weekends from the Fawns so far. Leonard Gates, since that last World Championship, since he got lucky in beating Coast on pay 5-4 on his way to getting that golden ticket, he's been on a tear in the seniors. He's won the last 3 events on TV, like Robert Thornton, regularly topping that 90 mark, going further a 101 and 95 in the quarters and the semis of the last event that was on TV, the seniors match play back in September last year. So, okay, it has been a little while ago. But as for the tournament favourite, John Henderson, he played in the match play last year. You'll hear from him later in his own words. He had a bad day, didn't turn up, but he feels like he knows what to expect now from these events. And the next time he plays in one is going to be this week. And you look at how he's performed the last few years since he's dropped off the tour, came very, very close to finishing second on the Challenge Tour. He's been a little bit unfortunate at Q School. His 8 defeats, 7 of them have been 6-5, one of them's been 6-4. So he's not had the rub of the green maybe he could get a little bit of that rub of the green this week and have a deep run. And he's going to have to do it the hard way. It could be a clash with him and Robert Fortman in the quarterfinals if they both make it through to that final day on the Sunday. Leonard Gates, you spoke about, and we spoke a little bit about the draw when it came out last week, and I feel like he has been placed in the toughest quarter. You've got Richie Burnett, Richie House and Mark Durbridge all lurking in there, and if he can make it through that section of the draw, I think he can make the final. But I just get the feeling that Leonard Gates is going to come unstuck at some point before then. So for me, I'm not going with Leonard Gates. I'm not going to go with Robert Fortman. I do believe we are going to get a new name on the pot this weekend, and I'm going to go for a little bit of a left field choice here, and it may come back to bite me because in round one he has got a very tough game against his fellow Canadian David Cameron, but I'm going to go with Jim Long. I think he's a dark horse for this event. He's someone that's spent a fair bit of time over here in the UK the last 3 or 4 months playing the World Seniors Tour events, playing the qualifiers, won one of them to qualify for this event, which isn't easy to do. He's been playing the Modus Super Series as well, so he knows a lot of what he could possibly come up against, the players that are in this field. So the first game is the big one for me. If he can get over that hurdle with David Cameron, I can see him going all the way. So there's my first real outside tip for 2024. And if it comes off, you're just going to have to hang tight to find out.